And
We're
we
live
are live for the 200th time. My brother,
hmm
what's
for the
going on
200th
with you,
time,
man?
brother.
Happy
Happy
holidays.
420.
Happy
Happy
holidays.
holidays. I am honored and blessed to be here for our 200th episode and celebrate our 200th episode on this holidays of 420. We started this podcast back in 2000. Was it 19? 2018 or 19?
It was right after WrestleMania 34. So 5 years ago. So
5 years ago.
2018.
2018. Damn, that's crazy. So 5 years of doing this. About to hit up our 5 year mark this coming May, right?
Yeah, May
Um,
26.
yeah. So yeah, man, 200 episodes is a milestone. Shout out to us, nigga. Shout out to us and all the
Shout out
things
to
we've
us,
done.
man. Shout out to us, man. So first and foremost, we just want to let everybody who has supported us and has helped us along the way, you know what I'm saying,
Absolutely.
any morsel of kind of guidance or assistance or put
Patience for
up
the,
or you know what I'm saying, anybody
yeah,
that
anybody
pulled
put.
up on us to let us know. We appreciate it, man.
Yes, man. We appreciate all the community.
Yo,
We
apropos,
appreciate.
you know what's crazy? Apropos, no, fuck that. We gonna do it our way. Fuck the community. Community don't fuck with us. We talking about the niggas that fuck with us. Man, like shout out to Riddle
Yeah.
on our holiday. Riddle
Shout
was
out
our
to Riddle.
very first fucking interview. He was our very first men's in them that pulled
Yeah.
up for the show. You
Shout out
know,
to our dudes, yeah, Riddle, man. Shout out to Riddle. That
shout out
was
to
our
Riddle,
first
man.
interview on the pod. Homeboy brought us over. He's the first guy I took a bong hit with. Man, we had him. He had us over his crib. So shout out to him, the the ultimate bro, and I'm sure he's enjoying his 420 right now. Um, shout,
That nigga need to stay away from the drugs, if you know what I mean.
well, this is not a drug. This is medicine. This is medicine for the spirit, for the soul. You
Yo, you
know,
know what? You know what's crazy about that? Quick little cheap
wait,
plug.
wait, wait a
Right?
minute.
Cheap plug.
Go ahead, go ahead.
You Joy Roller Ayatollah is doing
Yeah,
cannabis strain reviews. As Chidi said, this is not a drug. This is medicine. So as we indulge in recreational and medicinal enjoyment with the plant, go over to Joint Roller Ayatollah's YouTube page. And what I do is I go to my local dispensary. I pick up different strains. I go on Leafly, check the profiles. I smoke it, see if it matches, see if it doesn't. Give a review, and shout out to me for that. But yes,
yeah.
it's not a drug. It is a plant.
It's
You
a plant
dig?
medicine, man. Go to Joint Riley Ayatollah YouTube, subscribe, like the videos. Listen, I wanted to, and you touched on it already. I was just about to say, what are you smoking today? Because let's give a little review today on the pod, just a little taste what they get on Joint Riley Ayatollah YouTube page.
So I just went to the dispensary today, and I was going to clip up a little 420 video, but shout out to Reasonable Wrestling getting the exclusive. All right, so I went to the dispensary today, got 3/8 and a quarter for $60.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying?
that's not
So
that's pretty good.
that's
That's
excellent.
pretty damn good. Yeah,
Normally you can get a quarter for $60. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So I got some. I got a mix of everything. So I got a sativa ground, meaning it's already grounded up for you, and it's Ocean Breeze. So I got some Ocean Breeze. That's a
Ocean Breeze.
sativa. I smoked that when I went on a walk with CJ earlier today. It's actually pretty good. I kept hitting it, and putting it down, putting it out because it's nice. So what we gonna smoke? I got really recommended today on two joints. Well, actually three, but they automatically gave me the Fruitopia. So they
Okay,
say, yo, try the Fruitopia. That's gonna be fantastic. Try that. And
definitely sounds good. Fruitopia.
they told me
Remember
some
the beverage Fruitopia. That shit was
sunset sherbet and Cushment. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna try those. And what I was gonna do on the show, I was gonna roll me up a 420 joint. So I was gonna roll me up a 4 gram joint while we
okay.
did the show. That was what I was going to do.
Which one? What strain you going with?
I'm gonna put all of them in there.
All of them. Okay, medley. I knew it. I knew
I
it.
was gonna put all of them up in there. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we gonna do for 420 right now while we talk. And I'm a and you know it's not wise, especially when you talking about this Corporal Clementine, by the way, was last but not least. That was the one that was highly recommended. It was like, hey, if you want a budget and you really just want to, have something really nice, this got really good smoke, really good smell, really good profile. So, ooh, Corporal Clementine got a nice little smell to him.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Nice little smell, nice little look. So we gonna roll up a little bit of Corporal Clementine, and we gonna roll up a little bit of Fruitopia, and we gonna roll up a little bit of this Ocean Breeze, and we gonna roll up a little bit of this Sunset Sherbet, and we gonna have us a nice little joint. You know what I mean?
That. I mean, me. I got a little bit of something myself. Something light. Me. I just want to chillax. I got some maple leaf. That's what it's called. Maple leaf.
Maple leaf. Okay.
I can look that up on Leafly. Check it out. But here it's very light. It's light, a little high, nothing too serious. And I like to balance it out. So yes, I like to be drunk and high at the same time. So I'm drinking some Patron with that. But yes, just to celebrate our 200th episode. So that's what I'll be doing today. But yeah, man. Shout out to all the other ones that also you helped us along the way. Matt Riddle, obviously, MVP.
MVP,
our second
man, that's a real OG right there. That's that he a real OG to us. You know what I mean? Like
absolutely.
Along the way, helped us when we was in MLW, gave us some game when we was working there. You know what I'm saying? Very, very always gracious with his time, you know what I'm saying? Whenever we asked for it, you know what I mean? So MVP, another person that was fantastic on the show. Low key, Brandon.
Low key, of course.
Saying?
Our guy Low Key came out here. We came out to Eddie Kingston's crib, and we interviewed Low Key over there, and I think that was one of our most serious interviews over the past 5 years. Probably the most like we had our black shirts on and everything, like just to talk about everything going on during the pandemic and Black Lives Matter and the the conspiracy theories that we might have about certain things. But we love the guy Low Key, regardless of our opinions. We continue. He gave us an opportunity to have a long, drawn out conversation, long phone conversation, and you guys can go check it out on our YouTube channel. There's like cut up into parts. We had it was really not Low Key. It was really Brandon. So he got the real man, and that was the first time having some real deep dive with the individual behind the character.
Shout out to Ryan Satin. We was one of the ones trying to do out of character first, but you got the budget, you got the name, you know what I'm saying? You bum rushed the idea, but me and you was here.
We were on it. Yeah, we were in the same same wavelength, man. But yeah, man, it's an interesting time, and I'm just glad that we were able to last this long. I know when we started this, we didn't think we were gonna make it this far per se. Definitely we thought we
had a lot of let's go down memory lane about the show and kind of like because we did have different variations where we was at in life during the show, and I mean we ended up always kind of like full circle going back to who we naturally are, even though we went to the ebbs and flows of it all. But like we started the show and we was like, yo, we just want to talk shit and be introspective, you know what I'm saying,
Absolutely.
with the conversation and add some nuance. And then over time, we fell into the trap. You know what I'm saying? Like we fell into the trap of just this is trash, this is this, this is that, and not really offering any type of any type of any
constructive criticism or like
exactly,
dialogue.
exactly.
Yeah. To be
But
fair, it was trash though. I'm just gonna say.
to be fair, yeah. So where was you at in 2018? You know what I'm saying? Like wrestling wise, like what was
2018, you know me. We were roommates. So if you guys don't know me, we were roommates. So we both trying to go to Full Cell. Then it ended up happening. We're right by NXT every single week. He was working at MLW, and me, I was working, as an after school teacher. Um, and I would come back home, and he would tell me what's going on in Raw and everything, and I would catch up on YouTube pretty much. I would not, I wasn't like, I didn't, it wasn't must see for me. It wasn't must see for me for a while, but I always
it
catch up on
wasn't must
YouTube.
see because you was must getting some ass too. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm saying. Like let's be real about where we was at during that time.
Oh my goodness, man.
This is what the show gonna be today, man. This is what
Listen,
this is
man,
what
I
the show
had
gonna
my
be
time
today.
and out, playing the field, whatnot. I mean, shit, I might still have my time, but at the time, I was doing my thing. So yeah, later, ass over wrestling, for sure. But as more than that, I had other shit going on, period. Like there's a lot of stuff going on in my career, trying to, do graphic design work and all that type of stuff. I wanted to find something new to do to get my creative juices flowing. And this was an outlet. And, when we came together on this podcast, it was because we had differing opinions. We genuinely saw things differently when we watched the art form of wrestling. And we then I was like, yo, this is what I need. I need somebody to combat my what I see. I never looked at myself as a crazy Mark until I listened to until I talked to Chris. And then I was like, oh shit, maybe I am one of those people that they talk about. But to be honest, I'm a reasonable Mark, dog. Let's be real. I'm a reasonable Mark. I'm not crazy. But yes, shit would get me pissed off, and I would go off on it because it was dumb. Like I love the art form of wrestling. I wanted to do better. I love the art form of telling stories in the ring or, on a mic, all that stuff. I think that, coming from a background in film, who I've done, web series and all types of stuff like that, I write scripts. It pissed me off the storytelling aspect sometimes, and he would just remind me that it's not just storytelling, it's business. And I would get pissed off because I'm like, fuck the business. Like you still got to tell a compelling story and you got to be creative on how you do that. To this day, we still have those debates, but we have grown on our opinions, sometimes I got to drag him off the ledge, now, it's crazy, but it's definitely been an evolution over time of like, this was the right pairing to make this reasonable wrestling thing work. I've had other people that I was trying to see if they can work with me on a podcast for wrestling. They wouldn't combat me. They would just like, well, you take the shit seriously, like yeah, but they wouldn't really think deeper into the art form, and he does. So shout out to Chris for making 200 episodes.
You want to talk about a Mark, right? I mean, you're talking to a nigga who created a fan fiction, right? Like you're talking about a nigga who uprooted and uplifted his whole life to move to a place he's never fucking visited before.
True.
I never visited Winter Park. I never visited Orlando. I just saw an opportunity to work at WWE and just uprooted my whole life. I was like, I'm going to school there. I didn't even do my whole research and due diligence about how my benefits will work. That's how I didn't fucking finish school. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when we talking like marks, yeah, I mean, I can't say nothing about nobody else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
I was again, you know what I'm saying, where we was at. I was in my brother's basement in Buffalo, watching my nephew. You know what I'm saying? Love wrestling. Wasn't really doing nothing. Wasn't really had nothing going. Like you say, we was both in the field, both doing what we were doing, and at the time, I had just got out of something, so I wasn't really into nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's what kind of like kind of threw everything in the loop. I was just like, damn, what do you do now? You caught up, and what you was now, who are you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And um, I thought it was too late for me to do the poetry stuff, you know, because I thought I was too close to rap, and I never thought I was kind of like as good as I, you know, thought I was, whatever. So I'm like, you know, what is there? Like, can you be a filmmaker? Can you be a photographer? Can you write for wrestling? And yes, all that shit still and was far fetched at the time. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, moving down to Florida was a stretch, brother. And we ended up being roommates because, again, we tell the story all the time, but the origin stories of what this is and how this became and what we do, how this became a safe haven for both of us at the same time. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, you know, we can't really undermine how the origin happened. You know what I mean? Like, it really almost didn't. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like if I was able to maintain my joint out there and kissing me with me and cuz, you know what I'm saying? Like there is no like 6553. You know what I
True.
mean? Which led to a lot of epic times and beginnings and endings and
Uh,
continuousness clearly. You know what I'm saying? So
we always preach consistency, and to make it here at 200, like that is a testament to our consistency. And I think that we've been, like you said, ups and downs. You know, you've had gotten married, have 2 kids now. I moved to New York. uh yeah, there's so much has gone down, but we also done so many cool ass shit along the way. We have been to New York for NXT Takeover, thanks to Matt Riddle once again. We went to Essen, New York. We went
oh,
to Wale Mania in New
yo,
York.
and not to cut you off, but like yo, it was I'm on the page and I'm interacting on, and people are describing that as a top 4 live event of all time. Yo,
That
top
shit was fire.
5, like New York NXT
Yeah.
Takeover.
Yo,
Oh,
Brooklyn. Yo.
oh my
Yeah.
god.
It was fire, bro. Just being there for, Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano. It shit was crazy, but it's a gift, to at the time when we were just getting things started, and then going to Wall Mania and experiencing that. It's not just us in the community. There's multiple black creators and black people who enjoy wrestling and hip hop and the like, and they're kind of like in the same vein as us, who, wow, there's a place for us. Because wrestling, if you grew up black and love wrestling, trust me, it felt like it was
It felt like it was an outcast. Yep.
yeah, yeah. You felt like an outcast, whether you were in school, whether you were at your, whatever. You was like, you kind of felt out, like an outcast. Uh,
And
then
not
when you watch the television show, it was predominantly white wrestlers getting you're watching, and then you have a few black wrestlers that sprinkled in there that you want to root for, and that you see your likeness in. But when we came to start doing our podcast, came back from Wally Mania, all that stuff, we always were preaching representation from day one. Like we want to see more representation in wrestling, and over the course of the past 5 years, we are starting to see that more and more.
and
So go
and with
ahead.
that too, not just that, like it was representation, not just representation in wrestling, but representation in media, representation in like again, like we're gonna always shout out the homie C Hawk because he's doing really, really dope shit, bro. Like working with the ringer. We always gonna shout out Cass. He's doing really, really dope shit. We always gonna shout out Black Announce Table, the A Show,
Mhm.
like those people, Grassfitty, right? They should will Fightful.
Those
When
wrestling girls.
those wrestling girls in the fucking media room
Uh-huh.
at WWE press conferences, they are all doing amazing, amazing work, and that's all we wanted to see.
Exactly.
That's all we wanted. Like, and it's not like yeah we were, but no man, like being a part of that catalyst, being a part of that train, being a part of the process, being a part of the voice, being part of the ears, being part of the empathy, because like we understood what it took for us and what it's like to not like yo like what you mean I can't do what they doing? You telling me I'm not? You telling me I'm not adequate? Why? Because what?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because so when we started seeing people who had chops and real other streams of media and journalism form and stuff like that getting involved, like yeah, let's see how y'all react now. Now
For
we got
sure.
NXT 2.0 with Down South Sweat. Like the culture in us is just immersed now, and you can't run from it. We can't ask for it. We can't search for it because it's there. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's dope as fuck.
Yeah, man. Like they say, like, it's undeniable the impact that we have. Like, I think that even like when Triple H has his press conference in the post game of WrestleMania, he talks about how this has become a lifestyle for many people. People make a bag off of talking wrestling. People make a bag off of reporting wrestling. People make a bag off of, making content on wrestling and being involved or making merchandise around wrestling. Like it's a culture, it's a lifestyle that we have expanded over, especially over the past 5 years, and as we've seen it grow the community, and to a point where now we're seeing people in the media rooms where that we saw them grow from like small little podcasts to now you guys are on doing media stuff. So I'm like, wow, it's just so I'm proud to see it grow over the time. Now, where does reasonable wrestling go from here? Well, you guys got to stay tuned, and you'll see, because we were wrestling 200. We can't stop, won't stop. Shout out
Yeah, and
to Buddy.
honestly, where do we go from here? How do we kind of keep it moving and keep it pushing and continuously having fun and impact and everything? Like, because like, let's not get it twisted. I don't want to downplay that we ain't fucking impactful in this space. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to bump my head up because we don't necessarily see it, but I do know that like the pure authenticity of being yourself and not clout chasing is seen, and it is revered, and it is copied. Because listen, at one point in time, everybody was trying to be something. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody was trying to replicate something. Everybody was trying to present themselves something.
Yeah.
We fell in that trap. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, we did, but like, to be honest with you, I've always been like focused on us. Like I feel like like we have tried to do things because we do want to make motion. We do got to make motion, but we never went crazy off the just like this is gonna get a click. Let me just talk crazy about somebody. Let me just go crazy. This is let me just talk to somebody on Twitter just to get a conversation started, or let me say something outlandish. That's what we see other people do.
Regardless
we haven't like
what niggas may think. Regardless, listen. I don't care about y'all niggas enough to really rile that shit the fuck up. You know?
Yeah, we don't.
I'm up at 2 o'clock in the morning because I can't sleep because I got a fucking kid. So why not talk shit if you tweet? You know,
I think we fell into the trap of trying to evolve in a way that may not have been as comfortable for us. Don't get me wrong. Like in a way that felt like we had to do what other people are doing and following a trend rather than just being true to ourselves. And I don't think that's necessarily like cloud chasing, just like trying to evolve. And like we've always said, evolution ain't a mystery, it's hard work. And sometimes you make, a mistake on your hard work and then you go back and you fix that shit. And we constantly do that. So but I think that we're the kids in the classroom that in the corner getting high. If y'all come over, we might pass it to you. That's all it is, And we ain't gonna.
We might pass it to you.
We might pass it to you. We ain't trying to follow you and it's like, yo, come over here, smoke with us. No, we ain't doing that. We ain't trying to jump into your crowd and trying to be part of your crew. But if you want to come through and smoke with us, and you cool, and we find there's a vibe there, yeah, we're authentic. We're genuine. So we ain't chasing nobody. At the same time, I did. We do want to push our merchandise. We do want to make some things move. We do want to see, all right, how can we make something happen? And that's just a process of growing to me. I don't think that we ever been. I know we say that a lot, like, yeah, we fell into the trap, but I do think that we fell into the trap of trying to grow in ways that maybe not have been the best way. And
I would say this too, not to completely. I would say this with us, right? Because this is a kind of like a pat on ourselves back moment. We ain't really gonna talk too much wrestling unless we got some shit to talk. But I would say this. We saw the evolution and the growth of podcasts monetized.
Yeah.
And we did not want to miss that wave in that boat, but we also saw what that wave in that boat was going to have to take for us to do.
Yeah.
And like you say, conforming to that in a way just really wasn't feasible. Kind of to us, like, yo, how important is it? And it's important because everything is wrestling. Clearly, like you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying. Like everything to us is wrestling, but at the same time, the prioritizing of it, where is right, and we also have the goals where wrestling's going to pay for our bills, and wrestling's going to
Yeah.
take care of our mortgage and things like that. And we had and have to put in the work, but we have to and had to have done it our way. We could not implement and take anybody else's roadmap because it just didn't fit us, right? And possibly, we did miss the boat of being on every day and everything like that, but we still on. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
we really still on. Like we ain't on, but we on. You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
We
we
really
we
validated in this space. You know what I'm saying?
people know us. I mean, people can act like they don't, but people do. And if you don't, then it's cool because hey, you will one day. But I think that 200 episodes, regardless of who you are or whether you know us or not, whether we have people in the lives or not, it's a milestone that we don't want to like go without being said of like how much hard work it took to even get here, and it's not really about the people that know, it's about us, and
It took us a minute because I remember
yeah,
we used to have those arguments, right? We used to
yeah,
have those conversations, and it used to be like, do we make the content for us or for the people? And he was like, well, I want people to fuck with our content. And I'm like, yo, people fuck with us and what we got going on. It was like, so we had to ride a certain wave sometime. And right now, yeah, I'm in the garage. I fuck with the ring light every so often because it's not so bright on me. I got all the lights in here. Why I ain't got them hoes set up? Man, shit. You know what I'm saying? Because at some point in time, we look at what pops and what doesn't, and what pops is authenticity. You know what I'm saying? It's not always necessarily what the presentation or the packaging of it. You know what I'm saying?
to
Like,
be honest, inauthenticity pops a lot too. I'm not gonna front, but
huh?
I think that
Yeah, of
but
course.
we want to
That's
do it
because of packaging.
authentically because
That's what it goes back to the
yeah,
weed. Nigga, the packaging is out. If somebody said
exactly,
it's Zaza, you be like, oh, I'm gonna gamble this up. This some Zaza. And if 1,000 people smoke that trash weed, you got
yeah,
1,000 people say, man, this is trash. I would rather take the 10 people smoke my shit and
like
say
that's
this is
some
the
good shit.
best fucking shit I ever fucking smoked.
Exactly.
I do that all the time and have 1,000 people say my shit is trash. You know what
Exactly.
I'm saying?
So it's a thing where we don't get caught up in the loss in the sauce, so to speak, of content creation because chasing the number, chasing the views, chasing the followers. Although we want that because we put a lot of hard work in, but it's not this thing of like views above all else. And I'm not trying to be too cool because I do want to like have antics on this podcast. I do want to evolve. I do want to, garner an audience that can pay our bills, but it's not necessarily at the cost of doing it our way, like you say, and uh, I think that we've come a long way. We have a lot of information in the game now, and we've grown a lot and a lot to grow, go further. But well, we'll see. When it comes down to this content creation game, there are roadblocks for a lot of people. And, there's a lot of creative people that don't get shine. Just like in music and poetry, and everything, there's like super, super talented people that never get discovered, because they don't do the things that play the game, so to speak. And that's like a big roadblock. I think that we got to find a way to do in our own way, and it's like, how do you play the game your own way, and still make it, how do you win at being yourself? If we and that's what I want to do one day. I want to write a book on how to win being yourself because in this world you're going to get a lot of pressure to be something else, to win, to make it, and I never believed that you should sacrifice that. Now, have we come that place yet? Maybe not, but one day we will get over that hump, and you can mark my words here on episode 200. When you get to 400 or 500, yeah, I'm telling you, we'll be in a different place than we are today. So, shout out to us. Shout out to everybody that got us here. Shout out to you know, your wife, your kids who are patient with us to make this content. My ex girlfriends, family members that have been with us along the way to help us, give us the time to create and do this. Because those are the people, like you said, from day one. Shout out to Rich, shout out to Ray. It's people who have supported us and constantly been in our back pocket, giving us ideas and always encouraging us to keep pushing. Because you guys are the real, like, the ones that keep us going and put the battery on our back. So shout out
When
to
we
everyone.
get too caught up in, like you say, when we get too caught up in the niggas that hit us up and like, yo, is this real? And we be like, all right, now we gotta go back and explain it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's still like, so whenever it does get us out of the groove, right? We always find a way to kind of like, get grabbed back into it, pause, because realistically, man, like, shout out to the homie Blaine Boogie. I just met him and on Twitter, you know what I'm saying, and he does some content creation, and he was just looking for some real genuine. He was just looking for some real genuine kind of kinship. You know what I'm saying? And he's a father and a husband, and he's working and he's doing his entrepreneur shit and trying to keep a balance. And then, but his wrestling shit is what keeps him sane. You know what I'm saying? And what keeps him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, I totally relate.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely can resonate with that. Yeah.
just being able to come and talk shit and kind of something like, you know what I'm saying, something so ancillary to others and to us, you know what I'm saying, because at the end of the day, once we cut the podcast off and once we cut, like, we're immersed by it, we're consumed by it, but then like there are other things that are priority, but in the moment, right? You know what I'm saying? Just like when you're watching wrestling, when you're watching like, yo, like, don't bother me, I don't want to miss anything. I don't want to miss an RKO. You know?
I can't afford to, man. I gotta figure it. I gotta be able to be sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the spot.
Yo, because really, especially like watching it or being there, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're immersed, you're in it. You know what I'm saying? It's like
there's two ways to watch wrestling. Like, you can watch it as entertainment, or you can watch it as a critic. I feel like we fluctuate between those two a lot of the times, and I can tell when I'm like off. I can tell when I'm just, yeah, I was just entertained with it this week. Like, you could tell probably too. Like, I come on the pod and I'm like, yeah, it was cool. Oh yeah, I like this. Like that. But another way when you can like look at it is like, oh, I see this, I see that from a production standpoint, or you see somebody promo, like I said with Cora Jade a couple weeks ago, like, yeah, she's good, she got something there, but she needs a little bit more confidence because she's kind of rushing through her promo. Like, these little things I would never see if I'm watching it from a place of entertainment. And everybody's a critic, but when you take your criticism seriously, where you're not just trying to be a fucking like hater, all the time, and you're saying, listen,
that's the thing where I think that with this game, right, with this particular, like we say, what content creation has became to be, that seemed to be what got on. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. You look at sports.
Dan LaGreca's, you said Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless. We talked about them when we started our pod. It's that over the top animated character, and I was like, yo, let's fucking do it. Like, let's do it for wrestling and just mimic that formula. But as you start to do it, you start to feel like I'm putting on an act.
Because I was the Stephen A. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was the Skip. Like, I didn't listen. I'm gonna be honest. I did not mind acting for the pod. But again, when you say I'm watching it to be a critic or I'm watching it to be an entertainer, when I'm flat out not watching it, because again, me and you both flip-flopped into, who was getting some and who wasn't. Clearly, I got kids,
Exactly. So you understood missing Raw.
Or it's really hard to bust a nut and smoke weed and come and act angry about something. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I'm pretty happy right now. You know what I'm saying?
Shane McMahon, what? Who cares? That's wrong too.
You know what I'm saying?
I love it. I love it all. It's great.
Oh man, but that again, that grew into what this now has become. And again, there will be there will be an evolution in this, right? There will be a time where I am going to have the garage into a makeshift kind of like studio where it can have a little bit better lighting and things of that nature, and there will be presentation better in audio and video quality, and things will improve. You know what I'm saying? Because there is a certain level of etiquette that we want to present for ourselves, because we aren't just a podcast that just we aren't just two homies that come smoke weed talk about wrestling. We actually have an aspiration to make scripted and unscripted content, a production company, audio visual, you know what I'm saying? Like, we have a vision that we wanted, and we saw that from wrestling, right? We saw, again, how many podcasts is there? How many is there the opportunity that's my thing. I was listening to so many podcasts. I'm like, man, I can edit that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, give me the raw shit. All I'm doing is listening. Just listening at it. You know
Word
what I'm
up,
saying? But when you get into it, you're like, nah, nigga, I need to be paid. I need to be compensated. Y'all niggas need to listen to this shit. Y'all niggas need to download. Like, this is time consuming. This is work. This is a job. This is something that this is something that needs to be taken, again, with the level of and this goes back to consumers, right? Now we understand. When I just open up an app and I just fucking type in a name and I can fucking just listen. I don't know what an RSS feed. I had to talk to you what that was. You know what I'm saying? And you got to tell me how to fucking upload that shit. And now we got to work in tandem and connectivity to how to get this shit uploaded to these hosting sites and shit like that. Pay monthly fees for it to be quote unquote free. You know what I'm saying? It ain't free for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, but again, all of those things, you learn that. And shout out to the blog era right now, right? The blog era is reliving and rehashing, and all of them set the stage for what it is that we're living in right now in this digital age where everything is accessible. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were the grandfathers of what it is right now than what we're living in, to where you had to be savvy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't come into this shit completely naive to not knowing how this shit worked, because you will be Dax Harwood and wrapping that shit up very quickly. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Dax. He couldn't do it long. The end of that podcast is done now. You hear about that wrestling news, nigga?
Yeah, no, I didn't see it.
That nigga can't do the pie. He was like, man, listen, we're gonna wrap this up, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, he understands it's hard to be, one, an active wrestler.
Oh yeah.
How much time it takes to fucking record this shit, and you gotta somebody be edited, and can't be like, you gotta be in character, out of character at the same time, because you're like, nigga, fuck that, nigga. I'll just talk in text. You know what I'm saying? I'll send WhatsApp messages of how I really feel, nigga. I hope that shit don't never be encrypted.
Yeah, man, it's a job for sure, but it's a fun job. We get to make our hobby into something that we put some passion and effort into every single week, and dive deep into the art form itself. So I appreciate it, and hopefully we continue to grow. We definitely will continue to grow with the ideas we have going on forward. But who else I want to give a shout? I want to give a shout out to Wesley. Des, our guy Des. You met him when you moved to your new place, and you had a impromptu. Your old place, excuse me. Yeah, your old place in your former complex, and you had an impromptu podcast, which was, I think, one of our best podcasts about spirituality. And this took us to a different space, over the past 2 years. 5 years. And I was like, well, listen back to it. And I was like, this is interesting. Like, this is good shit. Now, it's not for everybody, but if you listen to it, I think that's one of the most, and I wasn't on it. It's one of my favorite pods. Guys, listen, like, it's one of my favorite pods because it's a deep dive into the man behind the artist on top of it, and his inner feelings on the world we live in, and how he and his world, and from a spiritual standpoint, and I thought it was deep,
I always pride myself to being I always pride myself to being a student of interviewing, because that I'm like, that is what I wanted to be.
You're good at it, yeah.
Growing up, you know what I'm saying, I remember 10, 11-year-old me and my mom was like, you know, we was watching Stuart Scott, and I was like, see him,
Okay.
I see it, you know what I'm saying? And like, you know, like, so sports commentating, and then growing up and seeing the coach and seeing that on commentating and backstage, and like, so it was an avenue, you know what I'm saying? Like there was because Stewart didn't play, coach didn't wrestle, right? So it was a way where I'm like, okay, I don't have to be, because I'm right now, nigga, I'm standing at 5'5", 160, nigga, like what I'm doing, nigga. It's only one Darren Sproles in the world, nigga. He's Darren Sproles, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
so with that being said, like the avenue of what I always wanted to do was interview and or you know, be a commentator. And then growing over the past 10 years or so, listening to Dan and Bomani, just be different. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody asks the same questions. Everybody kind of takes the same way, and you know, I'm also not that type of thinker anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like I kind of know of what everybody is thinking, but I do have my abstract way of kind of like thinking. But like Dez is a really good dude, man. Like you know what I'm saying? Like he's a really good, genuine, personable, just a dope person to be around, right?
Yeah.
The energy when we met was, I knew who he was. I had already seen him in MLW previously. So when I seen him in the pool again, I you know me, I'm not always the, oh my, you know what I'm saying? Like I've missed out on so many opportunities because of how I see myself, other people, how I see that other people will see me, rather than just be in the moment. Again, I talk about it, gotta be about it, being in the moment. You know what I'm saying? But that was one of the times that it was just a moment. It happened. I was walking the dogs and cut through the pool to come through the crib because that's just my walk space. You know, like I wasn't really finna alter what I do because it was there. I just wasn't gonna make a big thing about it. You know what I'm saying? And as I passed through, my dogs honestly was the gateway. You know what I'm saying? And I had some bud. You know what I'm saying? I like, let me drop the dogs off. I come back, I roll a joint, and you know, honestly, the rest is history about how the friendship between everything that we have now, including you now, um, uh, uh, exists. But yeah, man, that interview was kind of what I always wanted the show to be. I always wanted it to be that type of introspective. I always wanted it to be that type of deep dive, especially when we had wrestlers on. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Jason Cade, you know, current WWE right now backstage. You know what I'm saying? Put up on the show. Vin from Wrestle Rap, you know what I'm saying? You know, yo, Emilio, brother, he's finna bang, but you already know, man. Pull up, you dig? Swerve, yo, we did the fucking
Swerve,
video shoot for Swerve. Shout out to Montezi, you know what I'm saying? Big shout out to Montezi, you know what I'm saying? Damn, brother, like, yeah, man, we didn't do some shit, man. You know what I'm
we
saying?
doing a lot. We doing a lot. And you know,
shout out to West. Shout out to West Side, you know what I'm
shout out
saying?
to West Side Gun. You know, we always have great.
Brother,
we always have a great time when we see him and meet him. Just always friendly. Always a good time when we met him. Definitely, always a pleasure. You know, we got him Everything Is Wrestling T-shirt too. You know, he's the homie, man. So we hope hopefully we can get to see him again next year. Hopefully, or maybe sometime.
Man, fuck that hoping shit, brother. Get the wrestling shit situated, man. I don't know if you're doing hog still, if you want to do fourth rope, whatever you're doing, brother. Yo, ain't no more hoping. Let's get to it. God is the greatest. Praise both. We know what it is. Holla at us, man. We're trying to become legendary. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I mean when we say like we tapped in and we just got a little bit like with a meme. Like we just gotta keep, you know what I'm saying? Like it is diamond behind that dirt because we got tons of tons of shit that bro. We talked about Bro G Kush. And I'm like, hold on, shh, shh. Nigga, we had so much shit. We had so much
Man,
shit, man.
it's been a pleasure, man. Just getting high and just coming up with shit, and then there's so many ideas, so many things in the making.
Bro, you
But
got some money now, nigga. Start up that dispensary. I'll run it. Manager, nigga. What's up, man? What's happening?
Yeah,
Let's make some real cash out here, nigga.
For sure. It's hard to find people that you could trust and who've always been genuine when you see us. For Wes to come out, before he gets into his car in Dallas and be like, "Yo, let me stop and say what's up to these guys," and talk to us, not on some like fanning out stuff. It was more like a man to man conversation, and just tapping in with us. And I know you guys have that Buffalo connection, so shout out to all our Buffalo guys, man. Because yeah, I'm not Buffalo, but I feel by association I fuck with y'all, But but it's a thing where like we've where y'all come from, and it's now time for y'all to unite,
Well,
and
you know what's super crazy? Thinking about when we linked and where I was in life and the time that it was Wes, Vinny, Smoke Dizza, RVD, Wale, MVP, all in the room with my ass. Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, what am I doing here? You know what I'm saying? And like, literally, that all of them I can consider when I see them. The face card is legit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, like, and like you say, the time has come. Like, that's what I feel with us. I look at Wes, I look at Benny, I look at Khan, I look at Jay Skis, I look at Billy Esco from the town. And it's so shit. I look at Don't Trust Chewy. Don't Watch TV. Chewy V. Love the Genius. Like, it's a ton of my cousin Jillian. Like, the first ever Buffalo's poet laureate, my nigga.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So like,
shout out to Jillian. Shit.
Looking at the town, like, it's super talented, super inspiring, and it's all about niggas following what they want to do. So despite of me not necessarily getting a check from it or a bag from it or it being lucrative, just knowing I got that in me, just knowing like, yo, we gonna do what the fuck we want to do, how we gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is Buffalo. You know what I'm saying? And rubbing that off on people that's not from the town, that's the town business right there. You know what I'm saying? Because you from the nigga, you got it in from the city. You know what I'm saying? You stayed in Manhattan. You went in Harlem. Like, you know what it is.
I know the grind. I know the hustle. It's a part of me. Yeah, it's a part of me, man. You don't create a whole web series off of no money, by by not hustling and fucking making shit happen out of nowhere. Shit. Even roommates, look at that. That shit would be made creative. We're creators. That's the thing, man. We're creators.
Put the first episode out on YouTube.
I'm not sure if it's for the pod, but we should definitely put it out eventually. Yeah. We should show our people.
We got 3 niggas in the Millie channel. We can
drop it there for sure. We're gonna drop it there for sure. I think it's time. Yeah, but
just to show what it is that we like, because we talk about all the time. I'm a filmer. I'm gonna do this, and like, yo, like, this is how Issa Rae started. This is how fucking Quinta started. Like, this is
you gotta go to my LinkedIn to see my shit. Right now, but at the end, you know what? But
you're not right. That shit on Vimeo, nigga.
We gotta put it out there. We gotta put our shit out there. And that's one thing I want to tell creators as well. When you are a creator, it's hard to get that confidence sometimes to put yourself out there. Even starting the pod, come out here and talk our opinions, But when we hear people like fucking, Dave LaGreca, going crazy about some shit, we're like, oh fuck yeah, I can do this shit. But shit, when we sometimes doubt ourselves, I would say that's just means you care. I think that you care about your art form, but you should definitely put your best foot forward and put it out, even if it's not what you think is your best foot forward. You know what I mean? That makes sense. Put your best foot forward.
So what you're telling me right now is that Poetry Slam got to come out this year then.
Yes,
so you're saying all my wrestling poems Gotta be motherfucking. So that mean me and you.
I've been telling you that for a while. So you
I know,
already
but
know.
that mean me and you talk about tasks, you talk about work. That mean me and you gotta go in the lab and look at wrestling videos together and chop that shit
Absolutely.
up in the joint and like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm down. Like
yeah.
If you're talking like that, then Reasonable Wrestling / Black March Production / Infamous Poet, we about to get popping right now, man.
Grow through your creativity, and I think that what I struggle with is that I'm very creative with this, but I care too much about too many things. So I want everything to be so good, and first of all I want to do everything, and then I also want everything to be good, which is almost impossible.
Yeah, that is how we almost did last 200 with that type of phenomenon. But being more learning each other, growing with each other, becoming more than like we see a lot of people who done the pod and do their podcast, they grow into real genuine friendships. And that's one of the things we wanted to make sure, especially with roommates too. So we saw each other, we know each other. We got like it took you a minute. Like when I come home from work, Chris wanna take a shit, smoke, give him 45 minutes, you do whatever the fuck you want. You know what I'm saying? Like me knowing Chidi, I got when I tell him I'm gonna do something, man, you better motherfucker, you better do it. Nigga.
You better do it. I mean, listen, your word is your bond. That's how I roll. Listen, if I tell you something, I'm gonna do it. Come through, because at the end of the day, if we're living in a world where you can say your word and I can't expect it to happen, then what the fuck are we doing? Well, why are we even talking then? that's what anybody, like I'm like, why are me and you are even friends if I can't trust words are coming out of your mouth? Like that's how I've always looked at some people. I mean, I could be like, you could have an arm's distance, and I could be like, oh, that person's a liar. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to judge the person. They just haven't always told the truth, But if I'm here, like working with you on something, or, if you're my friend or you're close, my family or whatever, yeah, your word is your bond, and that's how I've always operated. And it takes time to find that equilibrium with people, and understand that, hey, somebody might care just as much as you do, but they might not show it the same way, and it might be a different way of processing, and I think that we give each other some grace on that, like when I come with some ideas that, I want to do so well. But I don't want to take action on it because I want to do it right, and, or with you, if, you got things going on, and, giving you that grace of like, listen, he don't mean to not tell the truth, or not, or be, or not come through. At the end of the day, we have our lives, so it's always been about that like equilibrium of learning each other and not holding each other to such a high standard all the time, but also pushing each other, so I want to thank you for that, pushing me to be better, and being receptive to the information, because if he wasn't receptive to be like, listen, you said you're going to do this, didn't happen, then this wouldn't work, this podcast wouldn't be a thing, because we would be in a place where, the message is not heard, where it's coming from, and trusting where it's coming from.
And I think that goes also back to the original portion of why this podcast exists, right? We genuinely see things from a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
There is a situation, there is situational and circumstantial things that we are completely in line with, want to cool with everything like that. But in all actual, like we're individuals. You know what I'm saying? Like our ideology. Listen, I've always compared it to how do you get to 9? How do you add to 9? You
can to 9?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there are so many ways.
Yeah.
1 + 8. You know what I'm saying? 2 + 7. 4 + 5. You know what I'm saying? Like there 3 + 6. There are so many ways that you can get to the right answer. It's all about, and I can't get mad at you like, oh man, you stupid as fuck, nigga, because you add 3 + 6. Nigga, you do 2 + 7? Like what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? It's stupid, because at the end of the day, you got 9, I got 9. You know what I'm saying? Like I honestly think that, once me and you ideology came to that, you know what I mean, alignment of like, yo, I really don't give a fuck how you show your work. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? You got to the place of like, well, right, showing work kind of really don't matter as long as I know that you're doing the work and got the answer and we're here at the right answer. Me and you like fit like a glove, you know what I'm saying? Because wrestling to us was that. It didn't, like, you know what I mean? Like wrestling to us, to me, sometimes I don't care how we get to a good match. Sometimes I don't care how we get to the end of the night. Once that 1, 2, 3 is like, I felt something. Sometimes I do not. Sometimes I don't care. Sometimes you like, nah, nigga, this is long division. You gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, it's the story, it's the characters, it's the build up, it's the title, it's the production. Like, and sometimes it's relevant.
Man, you're taking me right to where I want to get into talking about.
So come on, let's go into
listen, man. Listen, we've been at almost an hour into our 420 200th episode. We haven't really talked about the week that was a little bit, and obviously we got the week coming up on the Saturday. Our show's Saturday night, but we're going to talk a little bit tonight today, because why not? Listen, you talk about long division, man, and sometimes you don't care when the matches, are how we get to match, or how it just has to be a good match. And you hit the nail on the head with what AEW's approach is to wrestling, I feel like. And we've been talking about AEW and storytelling for a long time now, and I've peeped something about them. They genuinely are just going by the seat of their pants, and they don't know how to capitalize on moments the right way. When it comes to AEW and capitalizing on telling stories, I think that is their weakness. I think that everybody knows that is their weakness. Can they put on a good match and book a good match? Hell yeah. It could be freaking Kenny Omega and El Vikingo, who you never heard about before, and boom, that shit will slap, and you'll leave be like, yo, I felt something. That was a great main event. Come here on the podcast and talk about it and give it all praise. But there are sometimes where you just got to tell the story and give it the time it needs, especially when you have people that you're trying to build. And I think that I want to play a little game with Tony Khan. Shit. Tony Khan. Sorry to be jigsaw, but yeah, let's play a little game. And let me crack this open because I'm gonna play with you. All right. Cheers to the 200th episode with Real Wrestling Podcast 420. Tony Khan, I am going to challenge you to watch your own shows back. Yes, I want Tony Khan to read the work he puts in.
The pot calling the kettle black.
I want him to watch his own shit back. And sometimes when you cook, because me, I cook. I can cook, and sometimes you cook your food, you don't even want to eat that shit because you cooked. You feel full by cooking almost, or you taste it doesn't taste as good as you wanted, and then you come back to it the next day. Sometimes it's better than it was. Sometimes you realize, you put a little bit too much salt. Sometimes you didn't put enough salt. You gotta fix that shit. Tony Khan, rewatch your show, maybe just for the past month. We watch all of them, and I want you to take a shot every time there's a random beatdown. Take a shot when somebody saves somebody from a random beatdown. And then decide, was that warranted? Because for the past month, that's all we've been doing in AEW. Somebody randomly jumping somebody randomly saving them, or not saving them. And I think they have a hard time structuring the storyline. Now, I'm going to give them props for a couple things. Everything you do with FTR, I love it. Made sense. As much as you may not like Chris Jericho and Adam Cole, it's a creative way to get to the match. Props to there. Other than that, I'm not feeling nothing. There is no feeling when I see Matt Hardy get jumped. There's no feeling when I see Ricky Starks get jumped. There's no feeling when I see other people just get jumped, Elite get jumped, or Jamie Hayter get jumped. There's no feeling behind that because you do it so fucking much every fucking week with every fucking character. You have to find creative ways to tell a new story, man. Because I don't want you to die of alcohol poisoning if you do that. So maybe you shouldn't take the task of doing that shit. Because if you look at your show, it's Swerve attacking Darby Allin randomly. Then that sets up the match. You have the match. Don't matter. That's what your show has been. And it's not that Darby Allin and Swerve can't have a great match, which they do. They did. But that match could mean a lot more. Actually, I want to give another prop out to Jake Cargill and Taya Valkyrie. Their program has mattered because it has built around something tangible. It's creative. Okay, the finisher. Who has the best? Who can use a finisher? It makes sense. Like a lot of people want to talk shit about WWE and their storytelling, but look at the maximum male models, Otis and Chad Gable, for instance. We see where it can kind of be going, but they haven't broken up yet. Chad Gable and Otis haven't broken up yet. The maximum male models have not jumped Otis. They haven't jumped Chad Gable. They have just been building this tension of, wait, is Otis going to choose Chad or is he going to choose the maximum male models? And when we get the payoff, it should matter. And that brings us steam to the Otis character. That brings us steam to the maximum male models and Maxine. That brings us steam to Chad Gable. We care about that. Where you're lacking with Jamie Hayter is that she hasn't had a promo since she had the championship. We don't know who the hell she is. She just keeps getting her ass beat. And they're having great matches. And they get her ass beat, and somebody got to save her. And they're having great matches. And then you see on this week, Britt Baker gets a huge ass pop because she's in hometown Pittsburgh. And then she gets her ass beat later on in the night in front of her man. I think I enjoyed the angle, but no Jamie Hayter, nobody. You've taught us over the past week that someone's going to come to save her. And now all of a sudden in her hometown, nobody's there to save her. Willow gone, Sky Blue. It didn't make sense to me personally, but I get it. You want to keep the heat on Chris Jericho. Granted, cool. I mean, I would have saved this angle for MJF. That's my opinion, but great way to get the heat to the angle. Long story short, if you need to hire somebody to come up with ideas on how to build a match and how to make the matches matter, I raise my hand. I volunteer as tribute, Tony Khan, because if you go back and watch your shows, it's been repetitive week after week, and there's only few things that can draw us to these shows. And if you're building shows just on the booking itself and saying, "Oh, we're going to have this match," don't be surprised if you don't grow from where you're at as a company. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
Well, I will say this. I let you get your shit off because I know you said you had something down, and I got a few points that I wanted to come back to. For one, on the very last drink that you just said, we already knew there was going to be a glorified independent indie show. Like we already knew. Like that's not
bad necessarily, but
that's not bad. But we knew we were going to get a lot of like this, like what draws you to a show, right? If I was in Orlando, or if I was in Miami, if I was close by, and the show with that card was there, where you got Kenny Omega, the Bucks, and the Blackpool Combat Club, and Jay White, and Commander, and Jungle Boy, and Sammy Guevara, and MJF is going to be there. Like, that's a dope ass indie show.
That's it, and that's the problem. Exactly, and that's you just hit the nail on the head right there. On fucking television,
you know what I'm saying?
It's on fucking television. So you have an expectation of storytelling when you say, "Hey, listen, watch this television show." You're saying, "Yo, come to my indie event." I think there's an obligation. Me personally, I think there's an obligation to tell a story from one week to another, and say, and you're gonna add a third show. You're gonna add Collision on Saturdays and just give us a bunch of random matches. We already have a lot of matches.
Why would you when not? And we can't say that though, because I won't sit here and say that.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you exactly why. And I'm sorry because I know I'm cutting you off real quick. This is why. Listen, I'll tell you why. Because you guys are on television and you're trying to build stars, and you don't build stars by saying, this person's just a good wrestler. If you're just saying this person's a good wrestler, what's going to happen is Jamie Hayter's going to wrestle 3, 4, 5 years and be like, "Yo, I've done everything. I've wrestled everybody. Let me get the fuck out of here." Or you have.
That's what happens.
Okay, all right, that's fine. If you want to be that, if you don't want to build Jamie Hayter to be a mega star for your company that can go on, do press for your company and get it to grow and be a staple for your women's division, then that's on you.
Hold on, let's talk business and logic real quick, dog. They are alternative, okay? First and foremost.
Okay.
So the alternative is usually a garage band. It ain't a pop song. It ain't shit that's on the charts. An alternative is something that usually catches your eye that's not necessarily supposed to, and then becomes popular. And then once it becomes popularized, then it's pop music, and then you don't like it no more. So I would say this: AEW ain't supposed to be like WWE, where they give us all my children's storytelling.
I don't think that's what I'm asking for, bro. I love when you can just get a one-off match. But I don't. The whole jumping match, jump match, jump match. I don't like that whole scenario. You can chill on that. If you want to just book Swerve versus Darby without the beatdown, cool. Just do it. Like if you want to, I would say just cut out one match a week and give one extra promo to tell a unique story. That's all I'm asking for. And this is why. Because being on television, you have to have people attached to people that you want to come to see. You want to build stars. Because I don't think that Sting, Kenny Omega, John Moxley, they might not be here forever. Even if they are, eventually they get stale. If you want to be another Impact Wrestling, then yeah, keep the program going that way. I think they have bigger aspirations for that. I think that you do want to get like an MJF, and I think how you get that is you put him in great storylines over and over again. Jamie Hayter is missing the boat on that.
But
Ricky Starks missing the boat on that. There's so many people that have missed the boat on that. You want to have Wardlow and Powerhouse fight over. I mean, Grand Theft Auto, fine, cool. They're missing the boat a little bit, and that's what I mean about like getting people to attach to your characters over time, and that's because it's a television show.
But I would say this: you can't say that they don't do that when we literally like Revolution was a month ago, my anniversary. We went and watched that show because of the star that they made in MJF.
Yeah, that's one, but they have and I gave them praise on that. That's how you get it.
But Jade's presentation is a star. Now, storytelling. If we tell a real compelling story with Jade, with a wrestler, a competent wrestler, and she's not on that level, what is that going to do for Jade? To be honest, if Athena was a good story, but Athena is far and that means Athena got to dump and that means Athena can't then go all out and then do what she got to do because Jade's not on that level yet.
But they did it with her, and there's. I'm not saying that they can't do this at all, and I'm not saying that they can't do it all. What I'm trying to say is they have missed opportunities. Take fucking Jay White, for instance. Look at this. They're doing the same shit with him. Have him come out there, just wrestle a great match with Commander and go to fuck home. And then you have a run-in by Ricky Starks. It's the same old storytelling. When I'm like, you had the freaking top free agent in wrestling come to your company and you had him do a run-in. That's a fucking missed opportunity, yo. They had freaking, what the fuck is his name? CJ Parker. Was it Juice Robinson to have a better return than Jay White? It's ridiculous. They could have had the lights go out. Switchblade comes across the Titantron, darkness, and then he's behind Ricky Starks, hits him with the Blade Runner. That would have been so much more impactful. Like that, a little bit of thought. It's like you say, okay, we got Jay White. Okay, run out there. just go show.
What? That's it. Again, that is the indie show pop, and I hear you what you're saying. That's the indie show pop, and. You look, and I always said, if you give MLW the television production, I think that's a better product because I do think they tell better stories. I think they just don't have the production. I just don't think they have the capacity to do what they want to do. But they have, they have Bruce, they have the Lucha Underground nigga there. They got Court, they have a lot of influx of influence that allows them to differentiate themselves and how they want to tell stories. I would say this with AEW, as frustrating as it may be, I'm BU. When I was killing AEW in the beginning, and you was like, dude, you got to give it time. And I'm like, why? Nah, fuck that. You jumped in the shark. You wanted to do this. Over time, I'm looking at they are providing content.
They are.
Now, whether or not it has to be good or not, or to us, because it's subjective, right?
It is, and they're adding a third show, bro. I'm like, what? They're adding a third show, and this is why, okay, you can work AEW, but I feel like they're gonna miss. That's why people like Andrade gonna leave. That's why Swerve might leave. I'm telling you, one day if they don't fucking do something with him as a character, when he's talented, he gonna leave. There's a certain there's certain characters that can be bigger than the elite. Even I know it's crazy to think that, but you guys can do that. You guys did it with MJF. Now, how do you do it with other people? How do you do it with the other people on the roster that they can be bigger than the elite, and have a bigger presence than what and draw people to your show? Other than that, because if Kenny leaves or the Young Bucks leave one day, what do you have? You have people that are still cooking, still trying to figure it out. And I think by now Sammy Guevara could have been a great heel. I think by now, Darby Allin could have been
My God,
bigger than where he is.
can we please get into that real quick? I know I
Go
didn't
ahead.
put the clip up for last week because, like you say, shit, but it's still evergreen, right? Sammy Guevara and Jungle Boy are in no way, shape, or form ready for that fucking spot. That opening segment, my God, thank God, thank fucking the Lord, basketball was on.
Okay.
That opening segment was dreadful. Dreadful.
They're not ready yet. They're not ready yet.
I told you if those are your pillars, that building is falling. Falling. And I'm not gonna take away from this. Ain't got shit to do with storytelling. This ain't got shit to do with how, because them niggas, again, Sammy Guevara in ring, very nice. Jungle Boy in ring and over with the crowd, very nice. Storyline, bro, they got the charisma. They got the charisma with the seasoning of just white rice.
I think, just like I said with Cora Jade, like it's a confidence thing. I think they are confident in the ring, but on that microphone, they haven't figured out how to, connect with the crowd and, manipulate the crowd and, kind of like be in the energy rather than being against and opposition. There's a feeling you get, I think when you're in front of a crowd, there's emotion when you're involved in it and everything's with the flow. And there's one thing where it's a crowd and then there's me and we're like in opposition and I'm one of the crowd. And then they're like, them being in it is another thing. And then also being able to control it is a whole nother level of promo work. And they aren't even in it. They're not even looking. They're even Darby. Like there's a way that you can present yourself where, there's a freaking hard camera. Your back should not be to the hard camera. Even that's how I feel like, shooting wise, that promo was completely off. Promo wise, completely off. They went around in circles. Hey, I like you the most out of everybody here. Hey, Sammy, I'm more like you. Like everybody's saying, like they like each other and all this. I don't get what's going on with the storytelling. I don't get what's going on with the story because I do think they have a gripe, and I get where they're coming from as far as like getting their just due. But this ain't the time if you still have Sammy Guevara underneath Chris Jericho to push him. It's just not. He needs to get out from underneath him, and he can't even give a confident promo on his own if he's still there. I don't think so. Jungle Boy, he just needs more swings at the bat. Now, this is an opportunity for him to go out there and talk. He didn't do great.
At the bat, the nigga had a whole 6-month promo, 6-month thing where he was on the mic with Christian, and all the niggas like, "I'm gonna beat your ass for talking about my dead dad." Bro, he has the most practice.
You're right. He has
that. Like he was in a real program with Christian Cage, a nigga who beat a nigga. Hold on, Christian Cage, a nigga who beat Kenny Omega for the Impact Championship and what wasn't the Impact Championship in AEW?
Yeah, Impact.
Wasn't the dude with the Impact Championship?
Yeah.
So yeah, Impact Championship when they had the 2 belts. Listen, the dog. Listen, he had a program with one of the best, right? Darby Allin. I can say he is the only one that can challenge for this title. But again, him getting involved with Swerve, I hear you with the storytelling aspect of it all. But listen, I will say this. I am again paying attention more than anything to how people are viewing content or how they are consuming content and how these production,
how they receive it. Yeah.
how these companies are willing to able to differentiate what it is. Because like you was like AEW's doing the third show. I'm like, bro, do you know who owns AEW? Cause like, you know what I'm saying? Like Warner Brother and Discovery, they just wiped out HBO Max and just made it Max because they just want to put all the Discovery. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like this is a parent company that will say what works, will double, triple, quadruple down on it, and will water it down no matter how it is because you came here for this. You know what I'm saying? Like you can only get this here for this. Shout out to Succession getting themselves out of there early. You know what I'm saying? But also I think they looked at it and it was like, this is too niche for us. You know what I'm saying? Even though wrestling is Warner Brothers Discovery, HBO,
Okay.
This is the last season of Succession for HBO. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I think that show is produced and the people who view it and people who consume it and people who view it's very niche, but because you only come to HBO for it,
I think that the story is over with. I think it's not even niche. I think this is a good story. I just think that the story is over with. I think that it wasn't a business decision. Put it that way. I think that was more of a creative decision. Hey, it's over.
I think that's
over.
Business. You can look if this is supposed to be a parody of the Murdoch family, my nigga, like yes, you could have kept this going for more than 4 seasons.
But yeah, I was watching Your Honor, and that's not a niche show. People love that shit, and they just cut it off after 2 seasons because the story's over. They were like, yo, the story's done. Like, that's what they wrote. Like, and I'd rather do that than go on for 10 more seasons. And it's like, yo, this shit is trash now. They jumped the shark. No, like sometimes you want to people learn that you want to button up some of these series earlier on.
You know where Jump the Shark actually came from?
I think it came from Happy Days.
My nigga, yes. Yo, I did not know that, bro.
Yeah. When you have the fun,
you jump the fucking shark.
People are like, this is bullshit. I am done with Happy Days. You have the Fonz jumping sharks. Like, come on, this is not the same show anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, the phrase "jump the shark" came because nigga, the coolest nigga in America, the absolute epitome of cool, a 40-year-old nigga in high school with a leather jacket jumped over a shark, and niggas like, "Yep, that's too much for me." That's too much for me, man. I'm done with this.
Man. They went on for too long. And it's like these niggas are old now. They're not high schoolers anymore. You go here, you have jumping in sharks now. All right, fuck it, I'm out. But there's no more Happy Days after Happy Days are over. So you gotta cut that show. You shouldn't but I think that's what's happening with that. But with AEW, I mean, it's a televised live TV weekly show. So it makes sense business wise for Warner Brothers. I get it. But me as a fan, I'm like, God damn, I ain't watching all this wrestling, bro. Like,
I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not gonna listen. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Business wise, you gotta understand how important this is. One, WWE, they were alternative to WWE. When they ran Wednesdays was their night, or it was WWE's night. They went up against it, won that night, made them to go to Tuesdays. They won that night.
Yeah, they did.
Then they went up and said, hey, we're going to do late night Friday wrestling. They're losing that battle, but they said, we want to do something different. Where's late night Friday night wrestling for a crowd who might want to watch late night Friday night wrestling? Now they're bringing back Saturday night wrestling, bro, or Saturday morning wrestling, or let's just say Saturday wrestling. I don't know when, I know it's Saturday. But listen, if it's Saturday morning wrestling, how fucking dope. If it's Saturday night wrestling, how fucking dope. Like, I'm not going to hold you.
How many times did you watch Shotgun or Velocity? I didn't watch that shit. Did you?
Well,
how long is this show too? Is it an hour? Cool. If it's an hour, then
But again, I'm again. You talking about during that time too? Like, yo, we was really outside though. Like that wasn't crazy. That wasn't like we was outside. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Saturday night, we ain't watching no fucking Velocity, nigga.
And I'm like, you don't know interweb to look at see what happened either, nigga. Like, what the fuck, nigga? Like,
yeah, but
I just missed it.
But from what I understand, they want it to be like a third like official brand where it's not like dark. I think that this is gonna be something that they want to put a like major storylines on.
I would say this though. Be honest, and I would say fairness to those who are on dark, who are on elevation. If you then proceed to move those prominent talents and those stories, because shout out to Diamante and Swole, that story started on those shows, and it eventually moved to a Dynamite. And like, why does a 2 out of 3 falls match? Where's the story? They could have told the story throughout, or you could have put that story and made you go to 2 out of 3 falls and watch it on YouTube. But you wanted to owe them something because you wanted to bring them on TV. So I'll say this to combine the two to wrap this up. If you have talent, if you have stories, if you have things that matter that has been kind of happening on YouTube, if you have a commentating team or something like that you want to get them experience or something like that, you create this third show that is essentially putting Dark and Elevation as your level up, as your NXT, and you can make this as your fucking NXT, or this can be your hey, you got something going, we got something that, because again, Wednesdays is for the big dogs. I'm sorry, Cheaty. I'm sorry. Wednesdays is give me Moxley, give me Britt Baker, give me Kenny Omega, give me the
no. I'm on board with that.
I know, but even what I'm saying is those stories aren't going to be as intricate if they're always going to be intertwined with each other, because we looked at when Chris Jericho was involved with Ricky Starks. We don't want them interacting with each other, but they're thinking Chris Jericho's going to elevate Ricky Starks. You know, we put those two together because people know who Chris Jericho is. They would care about this, but no. We care about Ricky Starks, and Ricky Starks is supposed to be with the next gen. You know what I'm saying? And when you got Jericho's right now with Adam Cole. Something that I'm not going to ruin my holiday and get mad about. But they're also saying, yeah, Wednesdays is made for that. Wednesdays is made for us putting that together. You know what I'm saying? And I think that it may not be the most elaborate story. It may not be the most inclusive stories. It may not be the most intricate stories. But to them, they are putting something together.
Here's what I would say. Wednesday should be about the stories then. If you want to make it about the big dogs, because we ain't coming here just to see the big dogs wrestle. We want to see them have a storyline. I think personally, what makes Adam Cole take the next level is for him to be in an angle. You know, I think that's what you should do, especially after WrestleMania. I felt like AEW has an opportunity. You got Jay White coming. You got a whole new palette of, you can make new stars, and you know you can bring your four pillars and do your things and really craft some stories so people can get people's attention, because WrestleMania is over now. Like, all right, those angles have come culminated, and they're building some new stuff with Bad Bunny. All right, cool. You have an opportunity where the bloodline is not necessarily the focus anymore. What's the best storyline in wrestling right now? You know, what is it? You know, and I think there's a debate to be had if you can usurp that, but you guys need to capitalize on that immediately. You have a guy who they said was the catalyst in wrestling a year ago, and you just had him run out there for a beatdown like anybody, like any other Joe Schmo. That promo where Ricky Starks and him could have been the beginning of something beautiful. They just did one promo with him, appearing. He didn't even have to attack him. He could have just lights going out, lights come back on. Ricky, Jay White's in the ring, and then he's like, "I'm here in AEW. I'm all elite, and I'm here to introduce myself," and they have a promo battle. That right there, one of the best talkers that you got, the hottest free agent, should have been a moment. This 4-pillar stuff could have been a moment. The first night, I was like, yo, this 4-pillar stuff is pretty dope. This is exactly where you should be going. Give him this spot. I don't think that any of these guys should beat MJF, but it's a great moment for Double or Nothing to put these guys in a match. But the way you guys went about it, it's just capitalizing on the moment.
This is why I always told you it was going to be hard for us to do this show as critics when I'm coming at it from a pragmatic point of view and telling you Tony Khan and the niggas that's in charge of them niggas don't know what the fuck that they're doing. That's not being a critic. That's me telling you your expectation for them niggas is too high. It's too high.
I don't think it's too high. I really, because they've impressed me. So I know they have it in them to do certain things. My thing is the same thing with WWE. I used to criticize them until they got some shit back in order, And I'm on AEW's ass right now because I think they've had enough time, and I think they're at the place where you show me you can do it. You show me that you can get me to buy a pay-per-view. You show me that you can get me to watch a whole show for hours, and you got me to go drive to New York to watch it at a bar, with people. Like, that's the type of thing that they've got me to do. So they have it in them to tell compelling stories. I don't think that they always do, though. I don't think they even care enough to do it all the time. Where you guys give it a chance. But I say, listen, if you're going to be lazy about it and just have run-ins and beatdowns and run-ins and beatdowns, the women division is pretty much non-existent other than a beatdown and run-in in a match, a beatdown, run-in in a match. That is not a real storyline. I want to take a moment to just say how blessed we are to get Trish Stratus at the age she's at to be consistently on Raw and cutting some of the best promos we've seen. This brings me to the show, bro. And I know Jamie Hayter is a great wrestler, but her telling us who she is on the mic at least once would bring me to the show, so I can be like, okay, I can get where she's coming from her own voice, not through Britt Baker, not through a match with Tony Khan, not through freaking the Outcast. Who the fuck is Jamie Hayter? And that's what I want.
Hold on, I love you, Chidi. I love you. What's my motto? We need to have show merch. Watch the movie. We're about to see who Jamie Hayter. Oh, you just said it. Jamie didn't come save Britt Baker. Why? Didn't last week Britt Baker come save Jamie? Literally, it just happened last week. Jamie came out. You get so mad when Jamie comes out. She's the champion. She gets her ass beat. It literally just happened last week. Britt Baker came out and saved her. And then this week, she's getting her at Austin, not Adam Cole, nigga. She's screaming out Austin. Austin, this bamboo stick hurts, bitch. Where is my hoe Jamie? Jamie ain't come out. Jamie ain't went out there. Why? They had a tag match, right? Why? Where was Jamie at? We're going to see, we're going to know, we're going to figure out who Jamie is. And I know it's taking a long time, but me and you have said it. Jamie and Britt has always been the story. It's drug out. We are mad about it. They're doing the same, but they're doing it their way. We know.
Okay. I don't know, because here's the thing about it. I'm waiting for the factual evidence of that, because I'm sitting here and you're saying, "Oh, watch the movie." I've been watching it for 6 months.
Hold on, we said the same thing about Adam Page when I didn't believe that he was the guy. I said, like, nigga, I'm like, nigga, they paying all these niggas. Who Adam Page? You're like, dude, that's the story. He's the number one draft pick. The tag team match with Kenny Omega. He's the guy to beat Kenny. You told me to watch the movie. I watched the movie. They crowned him. We're seeing right now, Britt Baker. You've called it. Why is Britt Baker the shadow? Because we saw what drove us to what drove you to the channel when Britt Baker was champion, when she was cutting promos, because Jamie was the muscle, Jamie was the background. At this point in time, Jamie has always been that. That's the story.
I hope it is, because they haven't shown it on television. It's been months, bro. And when it happens, I'll come back here and be like, all right, you guys figured it out. But until you do, I have a right to come on here and tell you what I'm seeing right now.
Figured it out. What if they already haven't figured it out?
We don't know. Listen, they may. And you know what? I'll give you that. Maybe they do. But we have seen no evidence of that over the past couple of months, and I'm just being honest with that. So
we see no evidence of what
that they know where to go with the women's championship.
Jamie's not getting agitated every time that fucking Britt Baker takes the mic from us. How we've talked about how she never done the DMD. You telling me like they just do all this shit out of coincidence and happenstance, that it's not part of the long term of what it is. Like again.
Okay.
I'm not trying to, and this is me defending AEW here. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow, what a fucking holiday. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn. Yeah. But I'm just saying, because all I'm saying is this: when you do bring Saraya back, when you do have Tony Storm, when you do have Ruby Soho, when you do have the TBS championship held by Jade, I think the Jade undefeated streak is more an indictment of the booking than Jamie Hayter, because I can say this: if you have that other championship freed up, then you don't have to log jam 6 women with Jamie right now, because I think that Ruby Soho don't have to be in this group. Ruby could be TBS champion. Ruby can be doing her
But
thing.
Saraya could have came after Jade. Yo, anybody, Tony Storm could have came after Jade. Like, that's how you elevate Jade and TBS champions, to be honest. Have former, women's champions come after.
That's what I'm
Like,
saying.
but they didn't go that route, So, like, I still, and
That's
this
what
is
I'm
my
saying.
opinion.
I think Jade is the more indictment, and I think the TBS championship and Jade is the more indictment, because I don't want to. I know what you're talking about Jamie. We don't know who Jamie is. I know you said she has a.
She's your women's champion, Like, she's supposed to be the marquee woman on your roster, and she don't feel like it, So that's just me, and I could be wrong, and they might have it all. They might be working me. If they've been working me this entire time,
we said that about. I said that about
Adam
Page, though. I said that about his reign. I said his reign was man, and he was like, "He had great matches with this. He had great matches with this. He had great matches with this." And I'm like, "Nigga," and you know what I'm saying? Like, I still didn't feel like I knew who Adam was until he dropped the title.
Really? Okay.
I didn't know who Adam.
I thought I did. I thought I got a good feel for the character and the Cowboy once he got the championship. All through the angle, but prior to him getting the championship, I feel like he built a storyline. Him drinking and all that stuff, him having the depression, coming back from it, being tag champion with Kenny Omega. I felt like I was in tune with him as a character in his journey. I don't necessarily feel like that way with Jamie Hayter at all, and I'm waiting for it. So, hey, if they've been working me this entire time for them, bravo. I still think it was kind of lame, but if they do, I don't think they did it the right way. But if they get there finally, and Jamie's and Britt's like, yo, I had your back all these weeks, and you didn't have mine in my worst moment. You have me beat me for my man. Then yeah, there is something that that we can build off of from there. But you're in the middle of this outcast storyline.
Britt in London is crazy.
All in, Jamie and Britt.
Jamie Britt in London's crazy.
I like that. All right,
like you know what I'm saying? Like, and I know Britt has got cheered in her hometown when she was a heel, and having Britt be the American upstart, baby chasing after the heel in her home country. That will be a dynamic that I think AEW would do very, very well.
And that, my friend, is capitalizing on the moment. So I hope we do it.
We didn't say we was gonna go too deep into what it was this week or anything like that. We did say we was just gonna come and have a commemorative show and just chill and out, and you know what I'm saying, and chill out. Is there anything that's like pressing that you gotta say? You want to talk some sports one time before we get out of here? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I want to talk some Kang. Yo, I hope this guy doesn't get taken off the show, the Marvel. I hope he doesn't get taken off. I hope he does not get taken off of the freaking Marvel shit.
Yeah, we need to get off YouTube before we do this, and then just make this like another part, another.
Listen, I want to talk to Rich, man. Yo, shout out to Rich, man.
Okay, yo, text Rich, text Rich in the group chat. Text Rich in the group chat and say we'll cut off this pod and we will start another one about this, because what I'm trying to say is.
Is his career over? Like,
don't be on the wrong side of history, nigga.
I don't know. Okay, well, you know what? Let me not be on the wrong side of history, but I don't care if I am on the wrong side of history. That's how I feel right now. If I find out some more information, I'll change my mind. I'm not perfect, nigga. Like, this is a podcast. I can say what the fuck I want. If you care.
So here we are. All right, so fuck it. Here we are. We ain't gotta do it.
No, we don't got to. Yeah.
No. We ain't gotta start a new show. Just listen. With Jonathan Majors, what do you know and what don't you know? Tell me what you know so we can. So
I know he had the domestic abuse allegation. I know he called the cops practically on himself because they ended up taking him away. Apparently, they said he choked his girl, um, and now he got dropped from his PR team and marketing team. So, and people say that he might be dropped from a lot of roles. He got dropped from a couple other roles, and we don't know the full story yet. So that's why I'm like, yo, like, damn, his career is like, like just the hottest thing ever. Like past 2 months ago, Creed, Ant-Man, and then completely fell off the cliff after an allegation, and maybe there is more to the story that we don't know. Maybe there's video, who knows. But I think that we're in a time now where people are super sensitive to this stuff. Granted, I think that shit, Iron Man, the biggest guy in the Marvel universe, has been through his own trials and tribulations growing as a man. Maybe that's prior to him getting the role, but I don't want him to be to his career to be over because of this, and I think that
if the nigga playing the villain, why not just make it not just playing that
yeah,
shit.
it's not like he's playing, Captain America.
So he was arrested on March 25th over alleged domestic dispute. She had minor injuries on her head and her neck.
Okay.
He faces multiple counts of harassment and assault.
Okay.
And what just came out is other women.
Oh, okay.
There has been
They try to cancel him.
well,
Shit.
he did this to me. You know what I'm saying?
It's a Me Too kind of thing.
Yes, like a legit he did this to me too situation. You know what I'm saying? And it was it looked like a lot of people are she sent the text message. A lot of people are upset that the attorney leaked the text message that was sent, and a lot of people are like, yeah, that's just typical domestic abuse. Like she's apologizing and everything like that. So again, like we don't know, but I do want to say this: we have moved to a place and consciousness and in life that there has been no need to pause or hesitate on these things, right?
But is it right though? And that's the thing. Like,
yeah.
if you don't know exactly what went down, is it right to fire somebody from a personal?
Ethically, yes, because I would say this, and this because take the lawsuit, sue me, I'll pay the money on the back end, all that shit. I don't care. I want to say this. I don't want to be, again, deemed as an enabler. We look at all the, look at how.
Do you think that if you're working at Popeyes.
Let me land.
Go, okay.
Halle Berry wears an hearing aid because of Wesley Snipes. Robin Givens was beat by Mike Tyson, and niggas called her a gold digger when Mike Tyson said this is the best punch I ever thrown. There has Megan Thee Stallion. Nobody cared about Tory Lanez, but now all of a sudden we got I ain't never listened to his music. Somehow this nigga's quadruple platinum because they just hate women so much.
No, he's always been talented. I mean, me personally, I know, like quadruple cabinet because we hate women, man. Damn, is that how you look at it though? We are in an era where we're gonna take the side of the abuser. And mind you, you're bringing up a lot of things from like way in the '90s, and I'm not ever advocating for that to be okay.
We did have to grow into this. That's why I said we're in a space where we had to grow into it, right? Again, Robin Givens was on the cover of the magazine being deemed as, she like, nigga, you don't like, what would make, this is my thing, what would make me, and that goes back to, this is my larger point, right? As a man, it's hypocritical because I cannot at times control my emotions. We see Draymond Green as a man. Like, bro, you know the circumstance, you know the situation, you know your history. So I can't hypocritically say as a man what takes you there. Because what takes you there takes you there. But I will
Nigga
say
jumped on
this.
that kid like he was Mario jumping on a turtle.
But I
That shit
will
was
say
crazy.
this. No matter how much a nigga say he knows me or knows you, if a situation comes that like, yo, it's abusive, it's physical, it needs to be taken with not just a grain of salt. I would
Absolutely.
say that.
Let me
I would say that. You know what I'm saying?
let me agree with you because I'm not an advocate for any domestic violence. But what I am an advocate for is just basic accountability. You know, and I think that we have a justice system for that. You know, if
bro,
I
nah, don't go into the justice system thing. We know the justice system don't really.
No, absolutely. You know, and you have a point there, but does that mean that it gives your employer the opportunity to like fire you whenever they find out something about your personal life? And I want to know, and maybe that's the society we're moving toward, where your personal life is just as
that's the
important.
society we've been. That's the society we've been into. Like, be honest. Like, yo, they don't fire you because you do drugs at work. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But
nigga,
that's, but yeah, you do. But
like, I take a piss. Like, yo, I piss my piss dirty because I smoke recreationally at the crib, nigga. And I don't, you know, like just like not. I'm just saying, like, you are there. Yes, there have always been, and that's just to take into. But I would say this: as a public media figure and as a public face of my company, I do have the jurisdiction, right?
to let somebody go.
We talk about it with wrestling.
Yeah, with business and personal, we talk about it, separating the artist from the artist all the time. So, as an owner, you hear the story, but you have no evidence. Do you just let your employer go? Do you let them go just because you heard the story? You know.
I mean, at the end of the day, like you said, we don't know these people, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I hired you on your acclimate of how good you can do your job. So personally, I don't know you, right? Like, and again, like we always say, we don't live with, like, me and you, like, relationship wise, you say, Chris, I don't live with you, so I don't know. I said, nigga, you was down here for 2 days, you know what I'm saying? Like, but you like, I don't live with you. I don't know the consistency of the everyday that will bring up and make the callus that will happen between you or your wife. So personally, you don't know.
Yeah.
That to the side. With this as an employer, I'm a multi-billion-dollar public company, and the face of my upcoming film is arrested on some domestic violence in the middle of Manhattan shit. And like, I'm like
you can't do that. Like, and I'll be honest, 100% Jonathan Majors, you gotta handle this way better than he did. You have to move differently as a man when you're on that high profile status at the same time. You know, he's not a guy at Popeyes. Let me be honest. You know, he's a guy who has a high profile, role in a huge franchise. But damn, if you got hired off of your merit and talent, off the hard work you had for years of hard work and putting in, and then you finally get your just due, and you're like in 2 big blockbuster franchises, and plus your own movie at the same time, it is sad to me that you, off of a mistake, you can then an allegation, because we don't have the evidence yet, that you can lose it all. I think it's an interesting space to be in.
Not just listen. That's just the medium that we're in audio. One sentence, right? If you have something, can take that away from you.
That's crazy to me.
You know what I'm saying? But
that's crazy to me. It's like you talk about high expectations for AEW. People are having high expectations for everybody now. It's like people are flawed, and that's my thing. It's like people are.
Absolutely. I don't know how we have high expectations for people when niggas can't wear masks or go to the grocery store at a certain time, so old people don't get fucking.
You can't
sick.
wash your fucking hands, yo. Like, it's crazy.
I don't know.
But like, I still think that we should have grace. I'm a big proponent of people are going to make mistakes. People are going to let you down. People are going to be human, and I think that casts out people. Now, if you've tormented women for years, like R. Kelly, absolutely.
Let's be. Hold on. No. I don't want to compartmentalize that because I do feel like that when you do that, we at some point, that's how it happens. That's how we come desensitized. You're like, well, yeah, he didn't do it like R. Kelly.
No, I want to just be clear on what I'm saying though, because this matters. I'm trying to make a point that I absolutely think you should have grace for people, but not people who are proven to have a track record
Like
behavior,
serial
offenders. Yeah, like if you're like, I've never cheated on someone, but if it were to happen, or if a girl were to cheat on me, if we're 7 years, into the relationship, she put in all this hard work, and I put in all this hard work, and it's been a great relationship. There's a conversation to be had. It's not just like, oh, you're gone.
No, we can't. Hold on. I'm sorry. Women cheat off them. So this is my thing. This goes back to the personal thing, or just.
But that's me personally. That's great. Like showing grace to somebody.
On the generality,
it still might be you're fired. It still might. You still not. You still might have to go. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. He still might. He still might have to fucking go. Like, I'm just saying, damn. Like, let's get the evidence first.
Well,
if it was just an allegation, you just heard your girl cheated on you. It's not even like you have the proof. But you just heard, like, and then is it just like, all right, you're gone?
No, and the proof. Hold on. The proof is because you called. The proof is the cops was called and she went to the hospital. Like, that's the proof. That's the proof. The proof that's the proof. Now, again, you talking about you don't know what all happened in the manner if she hit him anything, but that's what I'm trying to say. As men, we do have to have better control. That's
absolutely. I appreciate that, bro.
That's what women deem so sexy about certain type of men in him. They thought that he had so much of a control about him because he didn't the way he cared himself about his aesthetics and of how he came up, and he was homeless, and I think he was, if I'm not mistaken, but again, like again, he was extended grace and we were rooting for him. But my thing is this. My thing would be always this. The one thing, yes. If it's super bad and egregious on the one thing, yes. We were already on the fence with him with this one thing because, again, we are in a situation in society where one thing can get you out of here depending on what that one thing is. And beating women is that one thing.
No, it's unacceptable. Yeah,
unacceptable.
And I'm coming from the standpoint of where I am right now. I don't have all the information, and that's where I'm coming from. If I have all the information that he did that on that night, all the girls that are talking about stuff about him are actually talking about truth, and there's proof behind that, and all that comes out, then yeah, my stance completely changes because it shows a habit of abuse. And
well, as an owner of a company, bro, what bad does it do you that you can fucking let him go and bring him back? Is he gonna say no? Like, what the fuck? Like,
I mean, maybe. Like, I mean, I think me personally, as a company, I mean, okay, I don't, because I'll be honest, I'm not operating on that level of $1 billion on stake, but so I don't know the decisions that have to be made. But from where I am today as a man, me personally, I'm not going to just immediately fire someone because they got into with their girlfriend and the cops got called. I'm not going to. I will definitely have a conversation with them. We will definitely sit down and talk about what the proper, how we do things moving forward. But if it comes out that, it was something that is going to tarnish the reputation of my company, absolutely, you got to go. But if you're, but you also have to have somebody to replace him. And that's the thing about Some More Tomorrow. I hope he doesn't get changed because replacing Kane is going to be tough. And that's me being selfish about the show, the movie. But if he shows a history of abuse, absolutely get him gone. Anybody come up?
It's not going to be tough to replace him, bro. Like you just said how easy it was, or you and Rich talked about how easy it was to replace Black Panther. You telling me
I didn't? I said it was hard to replace him too. That was Rich. That was Rich saying that. I was like, nah.
I think with this though, and we can wrap up with this, and just a great conversation. I would say with this, bro, you do yourself no favors to hang on to somebody that quote unquote beats women.
Okay.
Right. So on the premise,
and I want to be clear. I agree.
Even on the premise of, like you say, as a man, I wouldn't have done it. Even on the premise of that, as a man, I would tell you straight up, I'm doing this and this is why. And if everything is clear, we can come back. Because as a again, like you say, you don't operate on that, you don't operate on that business, but we do. This goes back to moralities, ethics, right? We do operate on a plane of, and that's why I say between me and you, bro, if Ivy ever comes to you and say like, "Yo, Chris is physical," you know what I'm saying? Like, I
I'll
don't need
come
you to
talk to
blow
you.
her off and be like, "No, that ain't my nigga." Like, and I don't also like you say, you don't have to distance yourself from a friendship from that. But business wise, bro, we in a business together. If I get arrested for domestic abuse, you got to suspend me. You got to. You got to put me on a leave of action. You got
Okay.
you got to, because for the business and for the face of it, it just looked wrong to be like, yeah, I'm riding with my nigga. We gonna figure this out at the end. You know what I'm saying? You know, like, I'm just like I'm done. You know what I'm saying?
Man, shit, controversy creates cash, man. That's what they say, right? That's what I heard from somebody, man. But listen, I'm a loyal guy, man. Like, and it's not that I absolve any type of misbehavior or abuse. I want to make that very clear. I don't, and you know that how I approach people in my life when shit like that happens, and I should we and you have had conversations where I pulled you aside. Listen, man, chill. Or whether it's something in life where we're like, listen, I'm out of line or you're out of line on something. I hold my people accountable. I do, and I think that's why I'll do with my employees as well. You know, so I just hope that everything. I mean, and I pray for everybody involved. Nobody should ever have hands put on them, man or woman. I'll make that very clear. But I think also with the climate we're in, sometimes, you know how the pendulum swings in culture. Sometimes we swing way too far to the other side, and I think there's a happy. I think there should be a medium. Maybe there isn't. Maybe there's always going to be two sides of a coin where some people are going to be on one side of the fence, some people are going to be on the other. But I also believe in grace, and I think that sometimes that gets lost in the conversation of people who are growing and developing. But if there's a habit of it, then that is something that should be addressed, and there should be consequences, like severe consequences. So that's where I stand on it all.
No, when not initially, like you say, being selfish and everything like that, I would say this, um, he had a good performance, but it was lackluster to a big bad, right? You know what I'm saying? I
He's gonna
know.
be in low key. And he was good in low key, both of them. And mind you, he's playing multiple versions in one character. So I think he did a great job. I think he did a great job personally. I think that this is just the beginning of that character. So I'd like to see what he comes up with next with the character. And I hope this doesn't ruin his career, because listen, I've never been in his scenario. I don't do that. I never been in that domestic scenario where the cops were called. I just not how I run my relationships. But I do have friends and family who have been in scenarios who I have seen growth from that and change into a better person and say, listen, I was wrong. I don't like pointing the finger all the time at people and saying what you did was so wrong, unforgivable, you got to lose it all. I think it's a slippery slope, because we get to a place where we're going to be doing that. Have you ever read the book Animal Farm, where
No.
the animals take over the farm, and because the farm overlords are like, slaughtering and taking and killing them, and then they take over the farm, and then they start doing the same thing to their own people, like, because it's crazy. It starts to show that sometimes the abuser becomes the abuser, the abused becomes the abuser, and I think that sometimes the pendulum can swing to the other side of the coin, where we're like, okay, men need to be accountable for their shit, and all these men need to go, and it's like, wait, some of these guys are not the same. Let's be clear. And that's what I'm trying to say.
That
Yeah.
is reasonable wrestling.
Well, that is reasonable wrestling. That's
Episode
it.
200.
Episode
No,
200. It's all love. It's all wrestling. Everything is wrestling, So, uh, yeah, man. Looking forward to 200 more. Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to all the day ones. Rich, Ray, wish you are here with us, but you hopefully can do this again, and y'all can join us later on. Shout out to the people who along the way. Shout out to Ivy. Shout out to CJ. Shout out to Christian. Shout out to Days, yo. Shout out to my sister Unama. Shout out to AZ. Shout out to everybody who's been along the way. Shit, X, Millie. Shout out to you. Shout out to everybody who's been a part of this journey.
Got married today, bro. Happy
Who?
married day, bro. X. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
You
who?
know what I'm saying? X3 got married today.
X3 got married. Oh shit! Shout out to X, yo. Shout out to Love. Shout out to Love, man. Listen, man. Shout out to X3. I'm gonna take a shot one more again for all our supporters throughout the year. Shout out to everybody who's been a part of this journey, and to 200 more.
Yes,
Wrestling.
sir. 200 more.
Cheers. And light one up on 420 with you guys.
All right, man. Thank y'all guys for tapping in. Everything is wrestling. We out.
Peace.